Hello everyone, welcome back to this new episode of the Apprenti Scraper Challenge. We've been able to talk to the service in an automated way and extract the questions. And from those questions, we learned that some of them are asking for the description and or the title of the page. Now the first thing we need to do is, first of all, fetch that page. And we can do that using a famous library in Python called requests. So let's do that. Once we've imported the requests library, we can go ahead and fetch a page. So I'm going to name it R for response, where the response will get the URL, which is nothing but the page that we've fetched from our question. The URL value string that we've received from the question. And we want to include the cookies that we've already captured as well from the cookie. All right. Now, the R value will now store the result of our web page. And one of the questions contained the title. And so in order to grab the title, we can simply do a regular expression or some find string manipulation using Python. But since the questions are going to get real messy, we need to upgrade our tools. And first of all, I'm just going to print r.content to see what is the content of the page. And I'm going to break. I don't want to overwhelm the server. And let's run it. So as you can see, this is the whole entire web page where we need to find our needle depending on the question. Now, if we want to get the title, which is this right here, we can certainly use a regular expression because we know for a fact that a title is always contained within the tag named title. So let's do that. We're going to import another library called RE for regular expressions, and I'm going to look for that here. The pattern in this case would be I'm looking for title, and then I'm looking for anything else inside that tag. I do this using groups, so this is a placeholder saying, hey, give me whatever we have here between title tags. You can always fetch the documentation by typing the name of the library and Python, and you should land on the documentation right here. But in short, we need to search for that pattern using the search method under the RE library, and we want to specify our pattern, and we want to specify the content of our HTML page. And after that, because we know for a fact that we have a title of that page, I'm going to look for the groups. Remember, the groups are these parts right here. And I'm going to look for the first one. Now you can imagine we could have other groups right here. And so in this case, it would be group 2, etc., etc. So the answer in this case would be that value right here. And we can print our answer and break. Now let's try it. Run the script, and we get an error. Cannot use a string pattern or on a byte-like object. Yep, if you see here, the content of the page using r.content is binary, so we need to use another one. And the other attribute of request is r.text. I guess this returns text string instead of bytes or binary data. Let's run it. And we get the title. Cool. So now that we have that, we need to send it as an answer to the server. So we've fetched the question, and then we've extracted our values. Then we've fetched the page based on the value, and then we checked for the content of the title. And now we need to answer that server. question. So the way to do that is, because we already have the S object, which is nothing but our socket, I'm going to say s.send, and then we want to send our data, which is nothing but the answer, but we need to encode it. Now this will generate an error. You'll see why in a minute. So if I run that, I get a bytes is required instead of string when we're trying to send that. So we need to convert it into bytes. And it seems that we can simply use just .encode and it should work. So send all answer .encode. Now we don't want to print the answer, but rather we want to receive data from the server and print it. So I'm just going to receive that data and print it directly. All right, let's cross our fingers and start again, run the script, and I get nothing. And that's typical because we need to append a new line to mark the end of our string. So if we retry, we get wrong answer. Perfect. Now I leave that as an exercise to you guys to figure out a way to send the correct string format. Basically, you just need to use the JSON library once more to package that answer into something that has the format solution and then your answer right here. So let me know in the comments how you would do that. And essentially, this is how you would talk to the server, fetch the question and send the response, and loop for every question. Now, this is where the fun begins, because when things get really messy, questions are not going to be as simple as just fetching the title or description. It's going to be finding nested paths, nested tags instead, and within those tags look for a specific attribute. So let's give you an example here. We can print a question to give you an idea. So if we run it, so an example would be, what's the last child's tag of the element li with the attribute lang equals this random value. So you need to combine things that we've saw here, regular expressions, and a really cool library called Beautiful Soap. And using this library, you can pretty much extract wherever you want. And this is where I've used for this challenge. Now, you have the structure of the script. It's going to get a little bit complicated when you take it from there. So make sure to extract meaningful bits and define functions for them. For instance, we can take this part right here and define get question function and paste in our code, and then we can return the URL, the cookie, and the question, and we will pass in the socket as our parameter. And here we just need to now say question equals, or better yet, URL comma cookie comma question equals get question with our socket. Now, if everything goes well, we should have the same results. We shouldn't have any errors. And yes, we get the correct value of the question. And since we are not sending a valid answer, it's going to say always wrong answer. So this is how you would structure your code and take it from there in order to tackle the more advanced questions using Beautiful Soap. I hope you've learned something new in this series. Make sure to interact with the community on RootMe's Discord server, which you can find under Community Discord. And don't hesitate to reach out to me on Discord to discuss any ideas you might have about the script, about solving the challenge. As always, stay curious, keep learning, and go find some bugs.